Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in for Cruise of Smooth. Hope y'all doing okay today. Just another day heading to work for me. I'm leaving the house a couple minutes later than I wanted to, but due to when I normally leave, I still have plenty of time. The company that I work for doesn't have a lenient policy on running late. So unless you get caught like behind the night, the only time I think I've run noticeably late twice. And the first time, the interstate that I have to travel to get to work, we were 300 feet. Me and the guys I was riding with at the time, we were 300 feet behind two 18-wheelers getting tangled up onto their side. And they shut the whole interstate was shut down. It wasn't they shut it down. The whole interstate got shut down because of that. So, I've always left with plenty of time to have to stop off and get gas, stop off, grab something to eat or drink, stop off and go to the bathroom, whatever, and still make it to work on time. So it takes quite a bit of bad luck for me to end up actually being late to work. Anyway, what I want to talk about today, there's a Facebook page for my co-workers, just people that work at that plant, and they can post things like, well, this overtime's scheduled, or accident out in front of the plant, be careful, overtime days got scheduled, things of that nature. And sometimes people post funny things about, co-workers or management, or funny stories that they had happen at work. But it's just a forum basically related to working there. And someone posted a thing about 2 weeks ago, I guess. What's some of your advice, not for working in this place, but just for life in general? And I think it was a Thursday or Friday night. I'm laying in bed and I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I was just scrolling for a minute, and I seen that, and I thought that I would hand down some of the... Oh man, someone killed a skunk. Roadkill that I won't even move, even though it's right in the middle of the road. But anyway, just what's some of your life advice? And I thought I'd pass along some of the advice that I'd give to my younger self, if I could, and the advice that's been handed down to me from parents and grandparents and friends that are older than me. Things like live inside your means, make sure that you get a day off for you because you need it. Having things is nice, but having experiences and making memories, especially with people you care about, just kind of generic advice, but stuff that does hold true in in my life experiences. Old sayings didn't get to be that way because there wasn't something to them. Kind of the way I look at it. So anyway, one of the things I posted in this thread was that dogs are typically better than people. Keep them around. And last night there was someone responded or something to that comment, and it really got me thinking about one of my favorite dog stories. Shortly after my wife and I got together, we weren't married at this point in time, she wanted to get a dog. And we went to the shelter. We had looked online at the shelter listings and found a beagle mix. I think he was a Russell Beagle. Pretty good dog. Typically, whenever you get a dog out of the kennel, no matter how well-minded they were previously, they're stressed, they're coming off of the kennel rations, they have the poops, and so even if the dog was 100% housebroke, you do have a couple messes to clean up. And my wife had done that kind of stuff before, and I'd had a shelter dog, but it wasn't a shelter dog when it came to me. It was my granddad's dog. My grandma didn't want anything to do with it after he passed away. So, anyway, pick up this dog, and the only thing about him, really, is he was very slow warming up to new people. And, like, it didn't matter if you were sitting there talking with him, having a cordial conversation. If this dog didn't want to warm up, he didn't warm up to people. So, case in point with this dog, one time, I had a buddy over at the house, and we're just sitting in the living room chit-chatting, and this dog's sitting right beside me, just growling low, and his hair stood up a little bit, just very slow to warm up to people. I did that with a lot of people, and there was no like, oh, well, people that look like this, as far as, you know, the shape of their face or the tone of their voice or wearing this color shirt, or there was no rhyme or reason to it. He just very slow to warm up to folks. Well, shortly after my youngest was born, the dog got very sick. Couldn't keep anything down. Couldn't eat, could barely drink anything. And my wife and I didn't have money to do an exploratory surgery to find out that they may not be able to even fix the dog. And unfortunately, the dog ended up getting put down. Well, she's like, I don't want another dog right now. I don't want another dog right now. Well, at the time, I was working night shift, still am. And that lasted all of about a week. She wanted something with better hearing than her that would wake up at things that went bump in the night. So she got back on the shelter page and got looking and looking and looking and found this dog that was a Great Pyrenees Border Collie mix. We went to go check him out. And the shelter, the way that they had things set up is they had a little room. You wouldn't go back into the kennels. You'd go to a little room, and they'd bring the dog out to you, and there was chew toys and brushes and whatnot, so you could kind of see the dog's demeanor one-on-one, not right there in the kennels. So we get the dog in there, and I got to tell a side story related to this. Having such a big dog, being on shelter rations and not exercising, he was a little thin in the skin. Well, he still weighed about 80 pounds. So, having a 5-6 month old baby, I was a little concerned about having such a big dog. Well, when my youngest was in her car seat, it didn't matter if it was in the car or if you were carrying her around in the car seat, getting her out of the car. Her car seat had to be moving. So you had to be driving, swinging, or rocking her, or walking with her if she was in her car seat. You pull up to a red light or you stop doing any of those things, she'd start fussing But as soon as you'd start doing it again, she'd quiet down. Well, she was about, I think she was like 3 or 4 months old. I mean, she was just a little thing. Well, we took all the kids in the shelter, I think. We might not have taken all the kids. I don't remember what day it was. But anyway, we go into the shelter, and I've got my baby girl in her carrier, her car seat. And I set her down. And when the dog comes in, so I'm kind of, looking at the dog and petting him and seeing what his mannerisms are like, if there's any signs of unwarranted aggression. I understand dogs can get aggressive when they feel threatened, but I'm, just kind of petting on him, and he's just a big baby. Well, the baby started crying because I left her sitting still for more than 5 seconds. And the dog goes up and sniffs her feet and then lays his chin right on her feet trying to calm her down. I'm like, that dog will work. And he watches over the kids like a hawk. I mean, he's just a good guard dog. One time, my youngest daughter was in the house with my wife while my wife was cooking dinner. I'm outside tinkering on a car that had a mail truck that had a coolant leak or something. And I had the part, so I'm just, wrenching away. And my youngest daughter snuck out of the house around me and started sashaying herself up the driveway. It was a long driveway, middle of nowhere. Well, the dog went right along with her. Couldn't stop her, so he was just walking right beside of her, and and my wife and I realized what was going on, ran up the driveway, dog was right next to her, and she got her little hand smacked and hadn't done that again. Well, anyway, great dog. But one of the things that we realized shortly after we got him, I think we picked this dog up in 2015, like September, October-ish. But one of the things that we realized is the dog didn't do loud noises. So thunderstorms or firearms or fireworks he didn't do. Now, I'm sure some of y'all have figured out I enjoy target shooting. I enjoy hunting. Modern rifle only, then, please. Well, so when you go out target shooting, this dog would go nuts until you let him in the house. And he'd still be a rather unhappy animal until you stopped. Just whimpering and upset. Case in point, this dog normally is very chill. Late last year we had a rocker of a thunderstorm come through, and this dog got so wound up he ended up being 100% of him not on kennel rations, about 100 pounds worth of dog in my lap, trying to feel secure and get calmed down. So that gives you an idea about how little this critter likes loud noises. Well, fast forward a year from when we got him, my dad got sick, cancer. So we were going over to his house very regularly. And we'd always take the dog because we'd be gone for an entire day, and the dog could run around on the farm and whatnot. My parents didn't really want him inside because he's a Great Pyrenees. They have a thick coat of fur and they shed. Well, my uncle came down and he had got himself a new rifle. And he wanted to do some shooting with it. absolutely, let's go. So he and I step outside for a little bit, set up a target and everything, and we go to shoot, and this dog loses it, runs up to the front door, and just by dumb luck, and I gotta tell you something else. Dad, at this point in the game, he had stage 4 colon cancer, and walking and moving was getting painful. The cancer was starting to spread. It had metastasized, full-blown stage 4, like I said. So it went from his colon to his liver, and all the organs where the cancer was were getting very tender. So movement hurt. Well, by dumb luck, when my uncle and I start shooting, someone opened up the front door of the house, just walking in or walking out, I don't know what. The dog blows right around them, goes inside, spins, runs down the hallway, and I don't think he had been in this house at this point. I really don't. If he had, it had only been once or twice and kind of, oh, he snuck in, we need to get him back out kind of thing. Spins, runs straight down the hallway to where my parents' bedroom was, where my dad was, and 100 pounds of animal jumps over him and into the bed and lays down beside him. Now, when I heard this, I thought that dog had to have stepped on Dad, had to hurt him, had to jostle him around and hurt him, whatever. My dad said I never felt it. The dog just laid down right beside him and laid there for over an hour. Didn't move, didn't anything. I have no idea how. I think I've heard that some dogs can smell cancer. I don't know. I do know that this dog was likely a washout of some type from some type of advanced training, and likely a washout due to the sensitivity to loud noises, or the fear of loud noises that he has. Apparently a lot of police dogs end up in shelters if the police dog trainees end up in shelters if they can't hack it. So anyway, this dog was likely a police dog washout due to other reasons. He was actually trained in German. We found that out quite by accident. A friend of ours speaks fluent German. She's half German. And whenever we hang out with this woman, my wife and I always pick up a handful of words because her daughter, who's 5 or 6 years old, is bilingual. And so they would speak in both German and English to her just to keep her, to help her learn, because that's when you learn languages the best, is when you're young. Well, anyway, one night my wife was trying to get up off the couch. The dog was sitting next to her, and he kept putting his head on her. And she's like, no, not right now. No, I'm trying to get up. No. And then she goes, "Nein." And this dog just looked at her with the strangest look and froze. So we looked up the common German dog commands, and he responds to them very well. If you want him to sit, you don't tell him to sit, you say "setzen." You want him to stop chasing the mail lady down the driveway, you don't say stop, you say halt. That kind of thing. Well, he's actually, this is interesting. My wife started taking some medication for mental health problems a year and a half ago-ish, I think. And the dog, I don't know how he put this together, what his training was prior to this or what, when she forgets to take her medication by a certain time at night, she'll get an increase in tics. She'll kind of have these random muscle tremors, cause her to spaz for a second. Well, the dog, if she forgets to take her medication, even if she's not having a tic, will pester the crap out of her until she gets up and takes her medication. And according to her, he's very calming to have around. She's got anxiety and PTSD and some other mental issues that that just having a 100-pound guard dog around helps with. And turns out he makes a fantastic service dog. We got him service dog certified through the state of Kentucky, where we live. We got him a vest and all the stickers and all the stuff he needs to go in places. And she works out of a company truck. She got it worked out through them where she can take her service dog with her when she wants. We've taken him to church. We've taken him to restaurants, to Walmart, to doctor's appointments, anywhere you can think of just about that you go kind of in your normal grind, and this dog does fine. The only time I've seen him do anything he shouldn't do in a store, one time we went to Walmart, bumped into a friend of ours in the bakery section, got yapping for a couple minutes, pre-COVID, and the dog started smelling brownies or something, and he just kind of doing like that. He didn't touch anything, didn't try to knock anything over and get into it, just caught whiff of it and was being a dog. That's the only time I've ever seen him do anything he shouldn't do. Like, he'll tuck under the table at a restaurant, tuck under a booth, he'll sit through a church service, sit through a doctor's appointment. Very good animal when it comes to service work. And one of the things that he does for my wife when she's out in public is, and I've seen him do this, okay, say she's in an aisle of a store and there's someone behind her. When she stops walking to look for whatever thing on the shelf she's looking for, he'll turn and look behind her and watch her back, which just makes her feel way more safe when she's in a store. Also, one time my wife and I gone into a store. She was going to try some clothing on. I was after something else in the store, so we split up. I go to get what I'm after. She's trying on some clothing. She gets done, is going after me for her selection, and she says, "Seek." And he puts his nose to the ground and walks right to us. So, just a fantastic animal. So I stand by what I said in that post. Dogs are better than people. Keep them around. He's about 6.5 years old now. Still a great animal. Very mild-mannered. If you pull up in the driveway, this dog will bark until someone tells him to stop. He's only nipped at one guy and got him. And for whatever reason, he just does not like this person. And it doesn't matter if this person's at the house or elsewhere and the dog runs into him as a service dog, he just doesn't like this guy. But a friend of mine came down one time and I told him, I'm like, hey, there's a big dog in the driveway, don't worry, he won't bite. He'll just make all sorts of racket until I get outside. Friend comes down, bark, 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 Shelby, that's enough. Yep. So, and it was funny because by the end of that visit, my buddy's sitting down on the couch, the dog jumps up beside him and plops his head over on him. So, very mild-mannered, personable animal. Anyway, that's it for me for today, folks. Hope y'all are doing okay. Thanks for tuning in for another Cruise of Smooth. Let me know what you think about dogs in the comments.